Happy Monday, teacher friends. All right, so today's blog post is about emergency lesson plans. A little backstory, as I said in my blog. Last week, California was hit with a lot of rain, and because of the overabundance of rain, trees were not keeping up and they were falling over, and ultimately, our school was blocked and shut down for 2 days. During that time, having conversations with teachers, veteran and also novice teachers, I discovered most teachers don't have an emergency lesson plan to use. And a couple of our teachers were hit within the flood zones and they had power outages. And so trying to create something for their classes while they weren't at school kind of became an issue. It added unwanted stress, it added extra anxiety. What am I going to do? There was a lot of just different admin. You have to do this and that and that. So what you see on my screen right now is actually one of the kind of emergency lesson plans I have on file in the event something happens, like I get sick or we have like some sort of natural disaster. I was more creating them back when I was creating them because I was worried, COVID was happening or just the flu. I mean, we're around germs all the time. So what you see here is basically a passage. This is a passage that can serve for my EL students as well as my Gen Ed students, so you can make adjustments as needed. But it's set up, it's ready to go. All you have to do is upload it into either Google Classroom or whatever your LMS is. So in this case, you will notice that there's directions for how to read and annotate the excerpt. And then I have the excerpt all typed out. So basically it's a one-stop shop. My students don't have to go to multiple places. I don't have to describe things. The sub doesn't need to know like how to get into StudySync or whatever kind of program we're using. It is all in one spot. I have it set up going through here. And then after they read and annotate for those items, you will find, this is a little longer, that I have a vocabulary chart itself, and I do have, again, an alternative for English learners. But the chart itself has the word, the picture, the definition, and I want the example from the story because I want students, even without me present, to go back into the text, okay? And it's a simple activity, but it actually will go miles and miles and miles. So I picked out the words I've already decided that I wanted students to do. I also want them to find 2 additional stories for any confusing words, so adding 2 extra. All right. Then I have reading comprehension questions. Depending upon the sub itself will depend upon whether or not I have them work in groups or whether or not I just have them do this independently. So if they work in groups, I do have that alternative in here. This is great also for days I'm not feeling well and I'm in school or something, or I've got a quick IEP that I need to run out on. So I have the questions themselves. I do like Cornell Notes. I find it's easier to read as a teacher. Honestly, create your comprehension questions however you want, your responses. But you can make this into a digital format for students to be able to do a quick response on, or make it into a Google Doc. So in this case, I have about 12 questions. I also included the answers just for my own personal, so I remember and I'm not having to search when it comes time to grading, because nobody likes coming back from having a sub or being in an IEP and you're like, okay, wait a minute, now I got to create an answer key for this. Okay, awesome. So this is all taken care of, again, all ready to go for when I need to teach it. And then, depending upon the time or what I want to do, I also have a written response in here. Now, if I'm back right away or it's a shortened period, I might actually eliminate some of these pieces. I just want it all situated at one time so I'm ready to go. And here's an ELD written response. It actually has the sentence starters, so that's my ELs aren't struggling without me, because sometimes they just need a little bit more assistance. And then finally, I keep like a rubric so it's ready to go. so that I have everything in a one-stop shop location. So when I return to school, or if I need to take this home to grade, to get myself caught back up, everything is situated and ready to go. So this is one of the ideas. I am an English teacher, and I also am an ELD coordinator. So this is the best idea for me that has worked in my classroom to be prepared, just in case something comes up. This is also like a quick passage itself that can stand alone, or you can put it in with another unit itself. So if you're trying to keep it all within, you can go through each of your units that maybe your district has set up, and you can create different resources to go along with that. I have done that for each of the units. So if I'm missing during Unit 1, there's a set that's with that. If I'm missing for Unit 2, and so forth and so on. I just wanted to be prepared because ultimately within that work-life balance, if I'm sick, it's better for me not to be at school to spread my germs so I can get back faster and I can give my students 100% of me. And I can also give my family 100% of me. But if I choose to try to knuckle down and push through this, I tend to end up prolonging the illness and it tends to be worse. So I kind of have decided a long time ago that it was better for me to be in a position where I wasn't struggling health-wise, and my students were prepared. I was prepared. The amount of times I actually get sick, fairly slim, but every once in a while there is that moment. I remember one year I was out a whole week because I had strep throat, an ear infection, double ear infection, and pink eye. So I hit the lottery that year. Again, doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I do want to be prepared because at that moment I am not in a good position to be a highly effective teacher. So please feel free to reach out and ask any questions when it comes to any resources or any questions that you might have. Like, hey, Erin, I just wanted to know, like, would this work as a lesson plan? What do you think about this? Obviously, this is not in lesson plan format, so you might want to go through and actually diagram what the lesson would look like, but you have your resources already ready and created. So we'll come back another time for me to show you what an actual lesson plan looks like or sub-plan. But for right now, this is just the bare bones basics so that you have something ready to go for if you're out on an emergency. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me any messages up above. You're going to hit get in touch and ask me any questions. I'll be sure to assist where I can. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.